Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So today we're going to do Lab 3, and this is a step up from the things that you have done before. So the idea here is that we're going to focus on character movement, and I want to show you a little example. So I'm going to press play. So with my character, I can so I'm looking from the first person perspective right now. So the screen on the bottom is the first person perspective of the avatar. So she's looking at this tree in front of her. So she's looking up, she's looking down, she can look left, she can look right. And I'm controlling this by my mouse movement. So I'm moving my mouse left and right and up and down. And then she can also move forward. So if I press my up arrow, she can move forward. If I press my back arrow, she can move backward. And she moves in the direction that I'm looking. So I can look at the tree behind her, and then I can move forward, and I can also move left with my left arrow and right with my right arrow. So that's what we're going to learn today. And we're going to do that using scripts, so code, which I'm going to provide for you. So let me open a new project and we'll do this together. So I'm going to call it Character Move Tutorial. You can call yours Lab 3 if you wish. So we're going to go ahead and create a new project. And once that's open, the first thing I'd like you to do is pick an avatar that you would like to work with for this lab. So just so you know, for the purposes of this lab, I picked an avatar called Sophie. So I'll just show you. So here's Sophie, and the animation I'm going to use for her is an idle animation. So it's actually this one here. So before you get, if you want, you can use one of your avatars that you use for a previous lab, but just make sure you have your 2 downloads. So one is just with the T-pose, so you go FBX for Unity, T-pose, and you download. And the second one, you just want to download with an animation like idle. And remember, it's FBX for Unity and with skin for the animation. So just make sure those 2 are downloaded. All right, and here is our new project. Now we're actually going to start with something new. So at the top here, actually, let's keep it like this for now. At the top here, you can see some tabs. You can see a scene tab, game tab, and an asset store tab. So for your final projects, you will be able to pick, any assets that you want from the Unity asset store. And some assets you do have to pay for, but some are free. So I'm just going to scroll down. And let's do search. So let's do it like this. So say I wanted to search for a landscape. You want to, whatever you search for something, you want to make sure it's 3D. And for pricing, well, I guess you can buy it if you want, but I would select the free one to see what's out there. So you can always install, any of these for your projects. I'm going to show you what I use. So I search for trees and select 3D and free assets. And I actually chose the realistic tree here. So you can go ahead and click on that. It may ask you to download first, and then once it's downloaded, you can click on import, and then you can select all of them, click on import. And then we can go back to the scene tab at the top here. Now you can see that if you click on the assets tree 9, you can see that it has some trees here, like tree 9 underscore 2, tree 9 underscore, sorry, tree 9 underscore 3, and so forth. So we're just going to add a couple of trees to our theme. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop tree 9 underscore 2. And I just like to reset things and then put them where I would like them. So I just went to transform and settings and reset. And so let's see. So remember that this is your z-axis here, and this is your x-axis here. So we're going to get it off the center because right now it's at center at 0, 0, 0. So for our z-axis, maybe let's bring this to 5. And for our x, maybe let's bring this to 2, like that. And then let's go ahead and drag and drop another one. So I'm going to do tree 9 underscore 4. So again, I'm going to do a reset. And then this one I might do z minus 5 and then x minus 2, just to go the other way. So you can see here that I have 2 trees in my scene that I just imported. Now I want to go back to assets, and I want to drag and drop my Unity characters that I downloaded just before. So I'm going to do Sophie. So that's my T-pose, and then I'm going to do the animation for Sophie, which I use the idle. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop Sophie in here. And again, I'm going to reset her position. And so you can see she's quite small compared to the tree. So I'm going to zoom in here. And yeah, so we also need to sort out her clothes. So this, by the way, everything that I'm doing right now with Sophie, you've already done before in lab 2. So if you remember, we went to extract textures, we did new folder, materials, select that. Say fix now. So now she's actually got some colors, and I'm just going to say extract materials and select folder. And now she looks very dark because our lighting isn't quite right. So let's fix our lighting next. So we can click on directional light here. So you can see that the light is actually right above her. So you can see it's x-axis 0, z-axis 0. If I click on Sophie, you can see her x-axis is 0, the value is 0. So you can see the light is right above her and it's shining at an angle. So of course she's going to be really dark. So we need to fix that. So let me move the light just up, just a little bit more. Move it up to 15. And let me put the Z to 15 as well. So if I zoom out, you'll be able to see it there. And then I just, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. So I'm going to click on the rotate tool. I might actually do it from here. So let's see if we say about 27, let's say, let's try this, minus 70, and our Z, let's say 150. Okay, that looks a little better. Now we can see she has a bit more. Not entirely, still entirely happy with it. So I'm just gonna tweak it a little bit. There we go. So we have a little bit better lighting for her here. And if you want, you can always make the intensity. By the way, you can always change the color of your lighting, and you can always make the intensity of your lighting a little brighter, like I just did 1.2 here. Okay, and I'm just going to do a save so far, so I don't lose all this. All right, now let's get back to doing our sorting out our animation and our idle. So just like we did last week, we're going to go to Window, Animation, Animator. We're going to go to Assets, right click, create, animator controller. And I'm going to call this Sophie Anim because it's Sophie's animator. Good. Then I'm going to go to Sophie here. And obviously, of course, you can see if you want to play. Oh, never mind. That's not going to be animated. Never mind, never mind. Ignore that, ignore that. So we want to go to Sophie up here. And we need to add the animation controller. So we want to pick the animator here. And we just need to make sure that we drag and drop the Sophie animation controller into this controller box that we just created for animator. So remember, this is under Sophie. We added the animator component and we dragged and dropped her animator in here just so that we link it. And now we're ready to drag and drop Sophie's idle animation here into the animator. Now, currently it's linking from the start to idle, but I want it to loop on idle. So I'm going to right click, make transition, and I'm going to loop back onto itself. So it's going to keep looping on this idle. And so if I go back to the scene here, the camera right now is behind us. So I'm just going to do that trick I showed you last time. I'm going to stay clicked on the main camera, go to game object, align with view. Then I'm going to play this. I'm going to save first. So now you can see she's just idling when I press play, and it's on a loop. So it's just going to keep playing. So far we've had added in our little animation and our trees, but we haven't done anything very new yet. So now we're going to actually have the mouse movements and the key presses aligned to her looking around and moving backwards and forwards and left and right. So that's what we're going to do next. So go ahead, if you haven't stopped pressing play, stop pressing play, click on Sophie, and this time we're going to add a new component. So I'd like you to search for character controller. So when you see that, go ahead and add a character controller, and you'll see this green wire mesh. But you'll see that it's like not quite aligned with her, so we have to tweak it a little bit. So we're going to adjust the height of it. So we're going to make it a little bit shorter. We'll make it about 1.8 because she's not about 2 meters tall or 2 units tall yet. The radius is 0.5, which is great, but I want to center it where Y is at 1. So then you see when you do that, it sort of centers around her. It's not exact because her height I don't think is 1.8 exactly, but you get the idea. And you can tweak it better, you know, for your final project if you wish to. Now, the next thing we need to do is so right now the camera is aligned over here because we just moved the camera. But what we actually want to do is put the camera in her first person perspective. So we want the users to see the world from her point of view. So if you remember in the demo I showed you, the camera was actually from her point of view. So what I'd like you to do is click on main camera, and let's go ahead and reset it back to 0, 0, 0. So now it's at 0, 0, 0, as you can see. And we're going to move. So go to the move tool. And remember, so this is the y-axis going up. We want to move the camera up, like to roughly around her head. And then we also need to move it forward along the z-axis just a little. It's okay if it's not perfect, but at least we, trying to get the best one that we can. And then the other thing we need to do is if you click on the down arrow to maximize, after you click on Sophie, drop down, I want you to go ahead and then drag and drop main camera and put it onto Sophie. And then you'll see that it will belong to Sophie with this little plus sign. So it becomes a child in this hierarchy of the Sophie object, or Sophie is a parent of this main camera object. So this means that now the camera is attached to Sophie and the position is where her head is. So this is great. So we've got our camera. So this is what Sophie is seeing. And I'm going to save, and I think this is a good point to do, go to layout and 2x3. So now you can see in this top panel, we can view Sophie and the trees. And here is what Sophie is seeing in her point of view, where the camera is right now. Okay, so now we're going to start to add some code. Now, you don't need to understand the code. It's okay. I'm providing the scripts for you to use. I'll go over them a little bit just so that if you're curious, you can learn a little bit more. So the first thing we're going to do is add a script to have Sophie look around using our mouse. So if we move the mouse to the left, or right, or up and down, we want her to look left or right, or up and down. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add a script to the main camera. So we're going to click on new script, and I'd like you to type Carrick mouse look, just like that. I already just did this, so I'm going to call it char mouse look, but it's totally fine. Please, you go ahead and do character mouse look. Great. And then you want to go ahead and edit it. So it's just going to be a blank script like so. So what you want to do is you just want to go and copy and paste this code into here. I'm going to change the name up here just because I called it char mouse look, but you won't need to do that as long as you called it character mouse look. So yours will look like this. Okay, and so you see here how there's two public variables. If you know a bit of programming, if you don't worry about it. These actually appear here as public variables. So they're things that you can actually change in the inspector, which is a really nice feature, I think. But what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop Sophie into the player body. But remember, this is all under the main camera, right? And just so you know, if I just show you, so this gets the input from the x-axis, so moving the mouse along the x-axis, moving the mouse along the y-axis. This is an X rotation, so it's rotating around the x-axis. So remember, the x-axis is here, so it's rotating up and down like this. So that's why we're using mouse Y. We're actually clamping so that her head won't go all the way around 360 degrees and look like an exorcist doll. So that's why we're clamping there. We just want her to look up and down like a human. And then here we're using her player body, which we put here under player body. And we're using that around the here, vector 3 up, which is the y-axis. So that's for her to look left and right. So make sure that's saved, press play, and then here we go, let's try it. So look up, sorry, down and up, down and up, and then we go left and right. She can look left and right as well. Awesome. Great job. Now we have one more thing to do. So now we're going to click on Sophie and we're going to do one more script. So we're going to say new script, and this is going to be called Carrick move. So this is actually going to move Sophie. So just like before, click on the toggle, click on edit script. You'll get a template. And so this time I'd like you to go to Carrick move. All of these scripts are provided on Canvas under the assignment page. So save that. So this is actually, you can see again, it has two public variables. So if we go back to Unity here, you'll see again, there's two public variables. Again, we need to drag and drop Sophie into the controller. So she's a character controller, her character controller there that we added earlier. So for Carrick move, so here we're getting, she's going to move along the X and the Z axis here. So this is actually getting input from the up and down arrows and the WASD keys as well. So if you go to edit and project settings, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you can have a look. If you click on Input Manager and Axes, and then if you look at horizontal, you see negative button, it means the left arrow is left, positive button right. Also the A and D keys, and then vertical, it's up and down, and the S and W keys. And you can also see here like mouse X and mouse Y. But just, you don't have to do that, just so you know. That's what this is referring to for the horizontal and vertical. And here we're going to use our character controller to actually move our avatar. So just make sure everything is saved and then go ahead and press play. So once again, we can look up and down, left and right, but now we can also move. If we press our up arrow, we can move towards where she's looking. We can also move backwards by pressing the down arrow. And then if I turn her around so she's looking at the tree behind her, then she can, and press the up arrow, she can move towards it. She can move left if I press the left arrow, right if I press the right arrow, back if I press the down arrow, and so forth. So now we have control over where she looks and where she moves. So enjoy. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll give you lots of time to work on this in class. That's it for now. Thanks so much.